quit your job multiple times in the same day, but you just didn't tell nobody?
Girl, yes.
Because that was me today. And as great, as wonderful as I think I am, and how much I talk about I love being a loan officer, I'm gonna tell you what's hard was those first 90 days. So we're talking a little bit about some of the do's and don'ts that I suggest about your first 90 days as being a mortgage loan officer. So you might have heard me say this in another video. I have been a mortgage loan officer for 8 years and some change.
Yep, we know.
And I've had some ups and downs. Like when I first got started, it was a complete disaster. Life fell apart, credit was bad, car was repossessed, the whole nine.
That sounds like a bad idea.
But some of the things that I wish I could have done are some of the things I'm actually implementing now, 8 years later, believe it or not. It's never too late to go back to the basics. When everything else has fallen apart and the well runs dry, go back to the basics. So let's talk a little bit about what I would do the first 90 days of being a loan officer. So thing number one, and I have some notes here on my phone. So thing number one, learn as much as you can. You cannot rely on that test. That test is not going to tell you anything about being a loan officer. It's going to tell you about some compliance stuff. It's going to tell you about some forms, some laws, don't go to jail. Nothing that you really going to use to make any money. Now, it'll keep you from getting fired, but it won't do anything to help make you any money. One thing that I did 2 years into being a loan officer was I went on some of the mortgage insurance websites like MGIC and Radian. They have free webinars that you can sit and listen to or watch for 60 minutes to talk about how to calculate income, how to read tax returns, because quiet as it's kept, I still struggle to read tax returns.
She ain't say that.
But we ain't gonna tell nobody. That's between me and you. Anyway, you can go to learn a lot of the skills that you may end up struggling with as you encounter situations, as you are talking to talking to realtors, talking to clients on consultations, and so on and so forth. But those are free outlets to get information about how to do almost anything. They'll talk to you about different loan products, the differences between Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae when it comes to certain types of income. They'll show you how to complete forms, and it just teaches you a whole lot of information that I stumbled through, and it was free. I didn't even realize it. A lot of times those mortgage insurance companies, they'll come into the office with donuts, but one of the most valuable things that I was able to get from those interactions was those free webinars. They have a suite of courses that you could take. You could do them live, or you can do the recorded version and rewatch it, take notes, apply it, rinse and repeat. Another source of information is the MBA. The MBA is a Mortgage Bankers Association, which is our industry organization. And if you go on their website and you register, like these things do not automatically come to you. You have to actually go on and register with your employee email address, and you will be able to get access to an infinite amount of information. There are different organizations within the MBA that you can join to get with like-minded people. You can stay abreast of current events that way, so that you're able to have conversations intelligently before people get the wrong impression from something that they heard on CNN or something on YouTube from somebody who's not even in the business, and they took a headline and they ran with it and they spread misinformation. One other big thing that I know for a fact, I spent probably the first 3 years of my career asking somebody. I'd be like, hey, what's so and so and such and such? Can we do 2 years of unemployment? How much do they have to put down if they get an FHA loan? Hey, I got somebody on the line and they get alimony. Can we count their alimony? Read your guidelines. I don't know why I didn't read it. Get to know your guidelines for you so nobody can tell you anything. I have found myself in battles because I'm very, very good about the English language. Like, don't let the ain't gots fool you, okay? I'm telling you, I was very good at being able to find the spaces in between the words and the wiggle room to make cases for my clients. When the underwriter said no, I was able to overcome those challenges because I knew what I was talking about. But I didn't know what I was talking about until I read the guidelines. So literally, not exaggerating at all, read the guidelines. And when I say read, like thousands and thousands of pages. It's like 800 pages for FHA, and then you got your Fannie Mae, and you got Freddie Mac, you got VA. Like, get a book, open it up, page by page.
Absolutely not.
They're available electronically. You go on, and they're always showing updates. And anytime that they have new bulletins that come out, they highlight all of the new information in yellow. And your company will give you like snippets of what changed. Like, as of today, we are no longer doing such and so, or what have you. So your guidelines are super, super, super important. Learn as much as you possibly can that first 90 days, because you're not so far into it where you have a pipeline that you don't have the time to be able to dedicate to learning your craft. Another thing that you should be able to do is turn your automobile into like a mobile learning center. When I started in this business in 2014, YouTube was a thing, but YouTube was not a thing where I was able to go online and find a loan officer that was able to speak intelligently about anything regarding mortgages. I did not see any type of YouTube channels where they would say, this is what I do in a day. But now you can go to Mortgage Coach. They have a program as well as a YouTube channel where they have hundreds of videos, hours long, where they will talk to industry experts about how they do things, why they do things different ways. You get a ton of ideas. Mortgage Marketing Animals, which is a coaching program that may be an outlet. And I'm just trying to give y'all like free stuff so you don't spend any money. But you can listen to podcasts and things from YouTube while you are in your car. And don't sleep on the audiobooks from back in the day. I was listening to things from Zig Ziglar, all of the old school salespeople. And it helped me a whole lot in sharpening my sales skills. And if you've never done sales before, I would strongly recommend that you get some sales training, because this is a sales job. Even though the product sells itself, it's still a sales job. You have to overcome objections. People are going to want to go to other companies for a variety of reasons. It might be a rate, they might not like you. It could be a ton of things, but it's ultimately a sales job. And when you learn about the psychology of sales and talking to people about making the biggest purchase in their life and having to learn how to get people to like you and trust you and sharing personal stories, all of those are skills that have to be built over time. One of the things that I did not do that I wish I would have done in those first 90 days was join networking groups. Joining networking groups are imperative to your success because this is a pretty social job. I mean, I do my socializing on YouTube. Hey girl, hey. Look, cheers. I do a lot of socializing outside of social media. Attending networking events that are hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. There are, depending upon your ethnicity or your background or the clientele that you serve, you can go to affinity organizations, which under the umbrella of the MBA or under the umbrella of NAR, they're always going to have subgroups where they have their own individual groups. So they have one for LGBT, they have one for African Americans, there's one for Hispanics, and Asians, anybody, you name it, it exists. So I would suggest getting involved with those groups as quickly as you can, just so you can get to know the people that are in your industry, whether it be realtors or loan officers. It's always good to have somebody who's going through similar experiences as you are, so that you can converse with them about, hey, I'm noticing a lot of fake pay stubs. Are you seeing the same thing? So it's always good to have people outside of your company to talk to see, man, I quoted somebody a 7% rate today. Do you have a 7% rate over there?
We sure do.
Those networking groups can also help you with referrals. People can't refer you if they don't know who you are. So get into these groups fast so you can start building relationships and building your pipeline. As of right now, me recording this video, it is 10:05 p.m. When you are trying to build something and you want to have great success, it is going to require that you put in some long hours. Those first 90 days, first 180 days, you need to be working around the clock. You don't have time to be going on vacations. You don't have time to be taking off Saturdays and Sundays. You don't have time to be taking 2-3 hour long lunches. You need to be working. I'm going to tell you why. Whenever you go to a company, they are going to assume you are going to fail. It's a lot more people that fail at this than succeed at this. And if the assumption is that you're going to fail, why would they spend any time on you? Why would they invest in you? I mean, who are you? They don't know you. They know nothing about you. But if you start showing up and showing out, putting in the hours, raising your hand and asking the questions, even the annoying questions, even if you forget, even if it takes an extra 30 minutes for somebody to sit down and show you, again, people are going to notice and they're going to appreciate that. And they're going to take you a lot more seriously. It gives you leverage in your company, if I'm being really honest with you. If they think that you're a hard worker, you'll get away with a lot more than you would be able to get away with if you were somebody that they thought was just breezing through town. Okay, so on to some don'ts. Do not set high expectations that you cannot reach. It's great to have a stretch goal, but I don't know how to break it to you. If you are in your first 90 days, you have no business comparing yourself to somebody who is in their 7th year, 8th year, 20th year. You keep driving that Nissan Altima, baby. Okay. You don't need to go out and try to get yourself a Mercedes Benz. You ain't made no money yet. Do not compare yourself. Set the proper expectations for where you are. Now, if you're as competitive as I am, I would suggest finding somebody who's in about the same place in their career as you are and kind of use them maybe as a measuring stick. Find a few people that you can kind of determine whether or not, am I falling behind? Am I leading the pack? What's going on here? But please, please, please don't set such high expectations for yourself that you feel like you are failing, because you're not failing. You're learning. And the other thing I want to mention before I get off of this, let's talk about when you're going to actually make a sale. Whenever these companies recruit you, they're going to lie to you. They're going to tell you, oh, you just need 90 days and you'll be making money in no time. A lie. That is not always true. If you don't come into this situation knowing somebody, knowing some people that can afford a house that's $400,000 at a 7% interest rate, or knowing a bunch of people in your family or your friend circle that can do that, it's going to take you some time to be introduced to those people. Those first 30 days, you're not doing nothing. You're not achieving anything. You're literally reading, filling out papers, doing compliance. You're not moving the needle. That second 30 days, you going around trying to figure out how to shake hands and kiss babies, how to figure out, is this really wasting my time? I completely just wasted my day. Have no clue. You don't know what you're doing. So what I can tell you from my personal experience, when I got into the retail side of things, it's going to take you 120 days, 180 days, probably before you get that first closing. So kind of going back to the working long hours, you need to learn time management on day one. When you are a retail loan officer, you have the freedom and flexibility to build your business however you want to. Your way may not be my way. It's going to work differently and look differently for everybody based on a lot of different factors. Do not get into the trap of thinking, oh, I can do it tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. You are learning something new and you need to act with urgency, and you need to make sure that the time that you have allowed for something, you are actually doing it. Time management is a big problem for salespeople, not just loan officers. When you start adding freedom and flexibility in the mix, and you ain't never had freedom and flexibility at a job, and you had to be like, oh, eat my sandwich, hurry up, oh, gotta get back to work, oh, pack it up, honey, oh my God. Yeah, listen, you can go maybe, sometimes, not often, take a little bit of a longer lunch break, but manage your core activities that you have to do first. Allot time for those first before you do anything else. Make sure that you are taking the right amount of time to do the activities, making lead generation calls, and following up. Because if you don't do that and you spend 3 or 4 hours out at the pool with your laptop working, You know you ain't at the pool working. You at the pool soaking up some sun, living your best life with your Chanel shades on, talking about, I'm a mortgage loan officer. You're not a mortgage loan officer because you ain't closing no loans. What are you talking about? And lastly, while you at the pool with your laptop, soaking up the sun, stay off of social media. Now, I struggled a little bit about if I was going to talk about this or not, but it has to be said. I did not tell people what I did for a living for probably 5 years. Now, I'm not necessarily advocating that you do that because, again, the way that I entered this career, I was in a consumer direct setting. So I didn't need other people outside of that call center to know what I did because I had phone calls coming in that the company paid for. If you are a retail loan officer, you are going to need people to know what you do for a living. However, do not go out screaming from the mountaintop that you are a home loan expert. Baby, your NMLS number look like a social security number. What you talking about? You have to figure out a way to maybe do it strategically, but social media is not a real place. You cannot build your business on social media while you're learning. Do you know how long it takes to do reels? Do you know how long it's taking me to make this video right now? Do you know how long it takes to edit stuff and get the right music? You'll waste, I know for sure, I've wasted 90 minutes of my day scrolling, trying to find the right sound. What's the right sound? How many likes can I get? That is not the right thing to do at all. Social media is not where you should start your career. It should be something that you add on as a piece of your overall strategy. That's my, I mean, that's my 2 cents. You ain't gotta listen to me. What do I know? I just got these awards. I don't know if you can see them over there in the background. I just got these awards. I don't know nothing. I don't, hopefully you will take my advice, but hey, if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, that's fine too. But I just wanted to share. Those are just some of the things I think you should do or don't do, them, especially those first 90 days. That really goes throughout your entire career because it is an evolving industry. You're always learning. There's always room to grow. There's always new goals to set. When you go on social media, when you show up to these appointments with these realtors, just be honest. Tell them the truth. Yeah, you know what? I'm new. I don't know all of the answers, and then tell them all of the best qualities about yourself because there are some good qualities about you because if you didn't have any good qualities, they would not have hired you, especially in this climate right now. You had something good about you. You had some talent. Something was popping. You had it going on. I don't know if it was your outfit. I don't know what it was, but you had it going on that day. And they said, you know what? I think this might be our next sales leader. And walk around, have a little attitude. You got to have some cockiness about yourself if you're going to be in sales. But along with that cockiness, be humble enough to learn. Be humble enough to always be a student. Be humble enough to always say, I ain't really sure. Let me go find out. Let me go check. And be humble enough to be honest because everybody had a day one. Everybody started somewhere. And while you're building your business, take your time. People will be patient with you and they'll really, really appreciate you. So again, I hope this was helpful. Again, like I said, I was really talking to myself, but if I missed anything, if you are a loan officer in your first 90 days, drop some suggestions below or maybe something that I missed. If you're a veteran loan officer and for some reason you're watching this, hey girl, hey boy, hey, put some comments below and tell the people, let them know, like, what should you be doing to establish the best foundation so you can make all the money and be in, the videos and cars and the boats and all of that? Because that is a life that a lot of people want. That's why we get into this career, so we can have a nice life, nice things. So anyway, let me get out of here. If you have not, please like and subscribe. And if you found this valuable, make sure you share it with somebody. And till next time, I will see y'all. Bye.